Hello student, welcome back. So in this video lecture we'll be talking about next topic, so continuing our classes. So in the last video lecture we have discussed the characteristics of Monera, and the subdivision of Monera we have discussed about Archaebacteria, and we have discussed Mycoplasma, and then we have discussed Cyanobacteria, right? So in this video lecture we will discuss Eubacteria. So we will discuss here Eubacteria. Okay, so Eubacteria. So continuing our classes, so we are discussing Monera kingdom. Of example, Eubacteria. This is important, Eubacteria. So I have said it before. So Eu means, here the name Eu means modern. So bacteria is bacteria. Archae means ancient, right? We have discussed this. So whatever the bacteria that is evolved later, so those bacteria comes under Eubacteria, or modern bacteria. We say the bacteria that now exist. Okay, the bacteria now exists in our surrounding environment. We call it as a Eubacteria. So bacteria, Eubacteria is the same thing, just the Eu means modern bacteria, we say Archae means ancient bacteria. Alright, so we need to discuss the characteristics of Eubacteria one by one. Then we will see some of its classification, and then we will see its reproduction. Okay. So let's start first of all the characteristics of Eubacteria. So we need to see the characteristic, then we will discuss classification, then we will discuss its reproduction. So Eubacteria, that is our modern bacteria, they are the most abundant living organism on earth. Okay, the first character we write, they are the most abundant living organism of earth. That means they are found almost everywhere in our surrounding. The bacteria are microorganisms, definitely. We cannot see with our naked eyes. To see those organisms, we have to see under microscope. Okay, but they exist everywhere. In my surrounding now, still they are present, but we cannot see. So we say they are the most abundant living organism on earth. They are found everywhere, land, water, soil, in every environmental condition. So first character we write, they are the most abundant living organisms. Okay, I am writing in short form, you write in full sentence. So they are the most abundant living organism. Next characteristic, they are cosmopolitan in nature. We write they are cosmopolitan in nature. Cosmopolitan in nature is they are present everywhere. Cosmopolitan means we find bacteria in every environmental situation or any environmental condition or any environmental habitats. So they are found in almost everywhere. They are found almost everywhere. They are found almost everywhere. In air, land, water, etc. Okay, so they are present in every environment, but we cannot see with our naked eyes because they are small living organisms, right? So we cannot see, but they are present. So next important characters we need to see. Next important character we need to see is that very important character. Bacteria are simple in structure but very complex in behavior. Okay, this is very important characteristics from entrance point of view. Bacteria are simple in structure but complex in behavior. उसका जो behavior होते हैं वो बहुत complex होते हैं but structure simple होते हैं. Okay, this is important characters that you need to remember. Next characters. Bacteria are smallest living organism on earth with cell wall. This is another important characteristics of living organism. Bacteria. Bacteria are known as the smallest living organisms on earth but with cell wall. So there's one organism, Mycoplasma. We have discussed. Mycoplasma are also known as smallest living organism, but in that case, they are without cell wall. So when question asks, you have to read out question very carefully. Whether the question is asked with cell wall or without cell wall. Okay, if there is with cell wall, you go with the bacteria. The smallest living organism on earth with cell wall are bacteria, and the smallest living organisms on earth without cell wall is Mycoplasma. So be careful. Okay, so that is with cell wall. Mycoplasma is without cell wall. Okay, okay. So next characters, what we can write. Most of the bacteria are heterotrophs. Heterotroph. Most of the bacteria are heterotroph, means they cannot prepare their own food. Autotroph bacteria भी होते हैं, but in a less amount. Okay. So, but most of the 99% of bacteria are heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means any organisms which cannot prepare their own food. कोई भी living organism जो अपना खाना खुद नहीं बना सकते, उसको हम लोग heterotrophs बोलते हैं. So बैक्टीरिया क्या है? बैक्टीरिया heterotrophs होते हैं. वो अपना खाना खुद नहीं बना सकते हैं. They have to search for the food. Okay, उसको खाना ढूंढ के जाना पड़ता है. Okay, so that's why they are heterotrophs. Among the heterotrophs, इसका क्लासिफिकेशन देखेंगे बैक्टीरिया का. Among the heterotrophs, among the heterotrophs, most are saprophyte. Among the heterotrophs, most of the bacteria are saprophytic होते हैं. So ज़्यादा तक bacteria saprophytic bacteria होते हैं. मतलब saprophytic means in saprophytic those organisms live where there is a dead organic matter. जहाँ पे decomposed area होते हैं वहाँ पे grow होते हैं, वहाँ पे रहता है. So those organisms which feeds on the dead decomposed matter. So those organisms are called as saprophytic organism, right? So जितना भी bacteria होते हैं, most of them are saprophytic. जहाँ पे dead organic matter decomposed area में grow करते हैं. Okay, most of them are saprophyte. Some are parasite. Okay, ज़्यादा तक saprophyte होते हैं. Okay, then some are, और कुछ क्या होते हैं, कुछ बैक्टीरिया पैरासाइट होता है. पैरासाइट मतलब those bacteria which cause disease in human body or in other living organisms body. Okay, और ज़्यादा तक saprophyte रहते हैं, जहाँ saprophyte मतलब जहाँ dead organic matter होते हैं, decomposed area होते हैं, वहाँ पे grow करते हैं, वहाँ and they feed on that matter only. And some are parasite means some bacteria are they cause diseases in other living organisms. Okay, and few are symbiont. Symbiont का मतलब है both the organisms gets benefit from each other. ठीक है, हम लोग उसको बायोलॉजिकली में सिंबल में रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं प्लस प्लस. दिस वी विल स्टडी इन सेकेंड ईयर इन डिटेल्स. इकोलॉजी चैप्टर है सेकेंड ईयर में, वो हमें डिटेल्स में पढ़ेंगे. फॉर नाउ जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट सिम्बायोन मीन्स व्हेन बोथ ऑर्गेनिजम्स गेट्स बेनिफिट फ्रॉम ईच अदर. ठीक है, उसको हम लोग सिम्बायोटिक बोलते हैं और सिम्बायोन. और बायोलॉजिकली में इसको प्लस प्लस में रिप्रेजेंट किया जाता है. प्लस मतलब एक ऑर्गेनिज्म उससे फ़ायदा मिल रहा है, और एक प्लस मतलब वो ऑर्गेनिज्म ये ऑर्गेनिज्म से भी फ़ायदा मिल रहा है. ठीक है, सो बोथ द ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर गेटिंग बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम ईच अदर. ठीक है, so ये सब है important characteristics you need to remember. Now if the question asks in exam, they will ask for 2 marks only. Write the salient features of bacteria. Okay, when we talk about bacteria, we are basically talking about Eubacteria. Okay, Archaebacteria are the ancient bacteria that no longer exist now, but still we need to study. So the bacteria that we exist nowadays are all Eubacteria. Eu means modern, so bacteria is the bacteria. So remembering characters, you are not allowed to forget these 2 characters. This is important from entrance point of view, these 2 characters. Okay, so rest are simple. So bacteria, most of the bacteria, they are found almost everywhere, so we call it as a cosmopolitan in nature. So एयर वाटर लैंड कहीं भी मिलते हैं बैक्टीरिया. ठीक है, सो वी कॉल इट से अबंडेंट लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म, जहाँ पे सब जगह में मिलते हैं, अवेलेबल होते हैं. सो ज़्यादातर बैक्टीरिया हेटरोट्रॉप्स होते हैं जो अपना खाना खुद नहीं बना सकते. सो हेटरोट्रॉप में ज़्यादातर बैक्टीरिया होते हैं सेप्रोफाइटिक, जो डिकम्पोज एरिया में ग्रो करते हैं, और कुछ बैक्टीरिया होता है पैरासाइटिक, जो डिजीज़ कॉज करते हैं, ह्यूमन बॉडी में कॉज करते हैं, एनिमल्स बॉडी में, प्लांट बॉडी में, तो पैरासाइट बोलते हैं. और सबसे कम बैक्टीरिया होते हैं सिम्बायोन. सिम्बायोन मतलब जो फ़ायदा देते हैं दूसरा ऑर्गेनिज्म को. ठीक है, सो दिस आर द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ यूबैक्टीरिया. नाउ वी विल सी द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ यूबैक्टीरिया. इसको क्लासिफिकेशन देखेंगे पहले ऑन द मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन. सो फर्स्ट क्लासिफिकेशन हम लोग देखेंगे बेस्ड ऑन द मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन. So bacteria mostly they are heterotrophs, but some bacteria we also find autotrophs. So now we will discuss the classification of bacteria. देखो ये टॉपिक एनसीईआरटी बुक में सिंपल से दिया हुआ है, जस्ट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक दिया हुआ है, बट हियर आई विल गिव यू एवरीथिंग इन डिटेल्स सो दैट एग्जाम के लिए भी फ़ायदा हो, एंट्रेंस के लिए भी फ़ायदा हो. ठीक है, पढ़ना है तो अच्छे से पढ़ना है ना. सो आई विल गिव यू इन डिटेल्स हियर so that it will be helpful for you for your entrance level as well as for your board exam also. So try to study. तो स्टडी में सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट होते हैं कंसिस्टेंसी. ठीक है, so nowadays because of this COVID-19 still we are locked down all inside our home, but we have to study, we have to do our responsibility, right? Know your responsibility. हम लोग भी अपना ड्यूटी कर रहे हैं, आप लोग भी अपना ड्यूटी करो. घर में बैठ के रोज़ लेक्चर देखो, पढ़ाई करो. ओके, सो राइट इट डाउन इन योर नोटबुक. सो कंसिस्टेंसी इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट. एवरी डे यू नीड टू स्टडी. इफ़ यू स्टडी टुडे and if you study day after tomorrow, you will give you gap. If you give gaps in your study, you will study after 2 days, 3 days. ऐसा होने से नहीं होगा. You have to study every day. Every day. Even if you study for 1 hour or half an hour, give your full concentration, 100% concentration. Okay? ऐसे ही टेबल में मत बैठो. अगर पढ़ना ही है तो अच्छा से पढ़ो, concentration 100% concentration देके पढ़ो. अगर पढ़ने का मन नहीं है, just don't study. Okay? But if you study even for half an hour, give your 100%. That will be helpful for you. So please maintain your consistency in your study. That is the most important thing. Okay, so classification of bacteria. The first classification of bacteria we will take on the basis of their mode of nutrition. Based on their mode of nutrition. I'm again telling you, most of the students might think, we also think that when we were in our school level, the biology is a memorizing chapter. We will just buy a guidebook, we will just memorize it, and we will get a good marks. This is completely not true, completely false. Biology is completely a conceptual subject. Remembering part is there, scientist name and the terms name, but it is completely a conceptual subject. When you try to understand the concept, it becomes so easy and so interesting. You will feel like, study every day. So don't be mistaken that it is a memorizing chapter. Otherwise, every student would have gone to medical if it is so easy, right? So based on the mode of nutrition, bacteria are of two types we classify. So most of the bacteria are heterotrophs only, but some are autotrophs. Some bacteria are also autotrophs. Heterotrophs and autotrophs. So कुछ बैक्टीरिया एकदम few कम होते हैं बहुत, so they are autotrophs. लेकिन most of the bacteria are heterotrophs only, okay? But we need to know in details. I'm giving you this in details, okay? So autotrophs are again classified into autotrophs and Chemo Autotrophs. ठीक है? Autotrophs and Chemo Autotrophs or Chemo Autotrophs. So you have already known the differences between autotrophs and heterotrophs, right? Autotrophs are those organisms which cannot prepare their own food. Autotrophs are those organisms which can prepare their own food, with the help of sunlight, water, and their pigment present in their body, right? Autotrophs are those organisms which can prepare their own food. Heterotrophs are those organisms which cannot prepare their own food, okay? They have to search for their own food. Like us, human, we have to search for our own food. हम लोग का बॉडी खुद से खाना नहीं बना सकते हैं ना. अगर भूख लगते हैं तो हम लोग का सेल ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऑर्गन ऐसा नहीं होता है जो खुद खाना बना सकते हैं. तो हम लोग को क्या करना पड़ता है? मार्केट में जाना पड़ता है, खरीदना पड़ता है, बनाना पड़ता है, फिर खाना पड़ता है. सो वी आर हेटेरोट्रोफ्स. बट कुछ बैक्टीरिया होते हैं जो ऑटोट्रोफ भी शो करते हैं. सो ऑटोट्रोफ्स को दो भाग में डिवाइड करते हैं, फोटो ऑटोट्रोफ्स एंड कीमो ऑटोट्रोफ्स. देखो बायोलॉजी में मीनिंग नाम में ही छुपा होता है. ऑटोट्रोफ्स वी नो ऑलरेडी, ठीक है? ऑटोट्रोफ्स हम लोग को पता ही है ऑलरेडी क्या है ऑटोट्रोफ्स, जो अपना खाना खुद बना सकते हैं. यहाँ पे दो नाम है, फोटो ऑटोट्रोफ्स. फोटो मतलब देखो, फोटो मतलब लाइट, ऑटोट्रोफ्स मतलब जो अपना खाना खुद बना सकते हैं. तो यहाँ क्या होगा? There will be those organisms which can prepare their own food with the help of photo, that means light, okay? So यहाँ पे कौन include होंगे? Those organisms which can prepare their own food with the help of sunlight, we call it as a photoautotrophs, okay? So example हम लोग लिखते हैं यहाँ पे example सियानोबैक्टीरिया और ब्लू ग्रीन एल्गी. ब्लू ग्रीन एल्गी को हम लोग अलग से पढ़े थे मोनेरा किंगडम में ही, और यहाँ पे भी हम लोग इंक्लूड करते हैं. क्यों? दे शो द कैरेक्टर्स ऑफ बोथ एल्गी एंड बैक्टीरिया, ओके? रिमेंबर, सियानोबैक्टीरिया they show the characteristics of both algae and bacteria. That's why they are called as cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria और blue green algae. Okay, cyanobacteria algae का भी character show करते हैं, bacteria का characters भी show करते हैं. Okay, so we include cyanobacteria under photoautotrophs. सेंटेंस लिखना, ठीक है, अपने से. Those organisms which can prepare their own food with the help of sunlight, we call it as a photoautotroph. Example, cyanobacteria or blue green algae. ठीक है. Again, chemo autotrophs. Autotrophs we already know. Autotroph means those organisms which can prepare their own food. Now यहाँ में again there are two words. Chemo is there. So, chemo means chemicals. Okay, so those organisms which will prepare their own food with the help of chemical, we call it as a chemo autotrophs. So यहाँ पे जितना भी नाइट्रोजन फिक्सिंग बैक्टीरिया होते हैं वो आते हैं chemo autotrophs के अंदर में. नाइट्रोजन फिक्सिंग बैक्टीरिया आर दोस बैक्टीरिया which fixes नाइट्रोजन, ठीक है, जो नाइट्रोजन को रिसाइकल करते हैं, नाइट्रोजन को प्रिजर्व करते और नहीं तो नाइट्रोजन को देते हैं कोई ऑर्गेनिजम्स में. एंड दोस ऑर्गेनिजम्स कम्स अंडर chemo autotrophs. ओके, एग्जाम्पल हम लोग ऑलरेडी पढ़ चुके हैं नॉस्टॉक एंड एविना. और एक एग्जाम्पल देते हैं नाइट्रोकोकस. और एक एग्जाम्पल देते हैं नाइट्रोसोमोनास. So these are bacteria which fixes atmospheric nitrogen. Okay, those bacteria comes under chemo autotrophs. So what is chemo autotroph? Those bacteria those bacteria which can prepare their own food with the help of chemicals, we call it as a chemo autotrophs. Okay. Coming to heterotrophs now. Heterotrophs are those bacteria which cannot prepare their own food. Okay, so those bacteria comes under heterotrophs. Okay, you need to write a sentence. Okay, notes में अपना note copy में sentence लिखना, sentence के बाद example लिखना. So heterotrophs are those bacteria which cannot prepare their own food. So they depend on other living organisms. So heterotrophs को हम लोग डिवाइड करते हैं फिर से. पैरासाइटिक में, सिम्बायोंट में एंड सेप्रोफाइटिक में. I hope it is visible. So we can classify heterotrophic bacteria under three categories. Parasitic, which can cause disease in other living organism. Symbiont, which show commensalism. Means symbiont means which shows what to say? They get benefit from each other. Symbiont. Okay, they get benefit from each other. जो एक दूसरे पे निर्भर करते हैं, एक दूसरे को मदद करते हैं. Okay, saprophytic, those grows on the dead organic matter. So parasitic heterotrophic bacteria I'll give you one example only. और अगर example लिखने का मन हो तो खुद से लिखना. Vibrio cholera, RAE. So Vibrio cholera is one type of bacteria which causes cholera in human body. Cholera के बारे में सुना होगा. So this bacteria causes in human body. That's why they comes under parasitic. Symbiont bacteria are those bacteria which gets benefit from each other. वो बैक्टीरिया दूसरा ऑर्गेनिजम्स को फूड प्रोवाइड करेंगे, वो ऑर्गेनिज्म बैक्टीरिया को फूड प्रोवाइड करेंगे. सो वी कॉल इट एज ए सिम्बायोंट और वी कैन ऑल्सो कॉल इट एज ए कॉमेंसलिज्म. और प्लस में हम लोग इसको बायोलॉजी में प्लस और प्लस से इंडिकेट्स किया जाता है. प्लस मतलब बोथ आर गेटिंग बेनिफिटेड फ्रॉम ईच अदर. सो दिस सिम्बायोन एग्जाम्पल हम लोग नोस्टो को भी लिख सकते हैं, which fixes atmospheric nitrogen with leguminous plant. No, I will give you different example. Rhizobium. Okay, राइजोबियम बैक्टीरिया होते हैं जो एटमॉस्फेरिक नाइट्रोजन फिक्स करते हैं विद लेगुमिनस प्लांट। ओके, नेक्स्ट चैप्टर में पढ़ेंगे इसको। सो फॉर नाउ जस्ट राइट इट डाउन द एग्जांपल। Saprophytic are those bacteria which feeds on the dead organic matter or they grow on the decomposed area. Okay, they grow on the decomposed area. So saprophytic का example you write by your own. Okay, you write by your own. Few example 1, 2 or 3. So heterotrophic bacteria are those bacteria which cannot prepare their own food and they depend on other living organism. And we classify heterotrophic bacteria into 3 categories: parasitic, which cause diseases to other living organism; symbiont, which gives benefit to other living organism and they also gets benefit from that organism. Saprophytic are those bacteria which grows on the dead organic matter or in the decomposed area. Okay, so these are the classification of bacteria we have seen on the basis of their nutrition, mode of nutrition. But the most of the bacteria are heterotrophic, but we also find autotrophic bacteria. Okay, so remember this is important for from your entrance point of view. Okay, next classification we will see.